Hello, welcome to Storytime with Lenny. And today I'm going to read you a book called Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. In translation, what it really means. By Lisa J. Holland. Chapter 1. The I Have a Dream speech. What it is. Thousands of people gathered for the March of Washington, and here Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his speech. On the morning of August 28, 1963, about 50 people gathered in Washington, D.C. for a march. They stood in the shadow of the Washington Monument. At first, it didn't look like a very big march, but in a few hours, the crowd have grown about 250,000 people. There were black people, white people, students, lawmakers, actors, and reporters. They began their march to the Lincoln Memorial. African Americans were tired of being second-class citizens. They wanted change. They wanted freedom and fair treatment. They demanded the same civil rights. The civil rights granted to white citizens. Many were angry enough to riot, destroy properties, and hurt others, but not Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used his words to inspire change. He used his actions to inspire peace. That was his dream in 1963. He shared that dream with the world at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Chapter 2. The I Have a Dream speech. What it means. So I'm going to tell you something. On both sides, you're going to be seeing two pictures. So on the right side, you're going to see the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. And on the left side, you're going to see the kids' translation. Now let's start again. 100 years ago, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. It offered hope for slaves during the Civil War. They couldn't see the end of slavery and the beginning of freedom. But today, in 1963, black people are still not free. The iron chains of slavery are gone, but they have been replaced by the chains of segregation and discrimination. Black people in America live on an island. All around them is wealth and plenty. But alone on their island, black people are poor and ignored. In this document, Lincoln announced that all slaves in the Confederate States were free. But Southern slaves still had to wait for real freedom. Slavery lasted until the 13th Amendment became law on December 18, 1865. It ended slavery in all parts of the United States. The men who wrote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence promised every American a check. It was to be cashed for freedom, but blacks have not been able to cash their checks. Instead, they have been given a bad check. On July 4, 1776, the 13th colony announced their separation from Great Britain in the Declaration of Independence. This is a famous document. In this famous document, Thomas Jefferson wrote that all men are created equal. It also said that all people have certain rights, including life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The U.S. Constitution became law on September 17, 1787. In 1791, the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution. These rights include freedom of speech and religion. King didn't mean that blacks were owed actually money. He used the image of a bad check to stand for broken promise. But we do not believe America has run out of justice. We believe America has huge amounts of opportunity in its ballot. We are here to cash the check that promises justice for all. The time is now. We will no longer wait. Black Americans will not cool off. We will not sit quietly, patiently waiting for our rights. Nobody will rest until blacks enjoy the right promised to all Americans. Black people have been protesting, demonstrating, and marching for almost 10 years. They were angry about their lack of rights in America. The bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama began in 1955. Blacks refused to ride city buses for more than a year until city officials were forced to end bus segregations. Well, we must not break the law to get justice. We must not take away another's rights in order to get our own. We must act fairly and without violence. When we are struck, we must not strike back. We cannot make white people our enemies. White Americans share the same fate as black Americans. We are in this together. We must move forward. We will not turn back. King was inspired by Mohandas Gandhi. This leader used non-violent protests to help India win independence from Great Britain. In 1947, like King, Gandhi believed in standing firm but never fighting back with violence. Some Americans think that the end of slavery should have satisfied us, but we cannot be satisfied. Not when the police beat us with clubs or spray us with fire hoses. Not when signs saying whites only keep us from motels, hotels, and other businesses. Not when black people cannot vote or have nothing worth their vote. I know some of you here today have suffered. Some of you have been jailed. Some you have cuts and bruises from the way you were treated. But don't give up. Police in Birmingham, Alabama, used high-pressure fire hoses on peaceful black protesters. Even King himself was arrested many times for protesting. Do not lose hope. We face problems today. We will face problems tomorrow. Still, I have a dream. My dream grew out of the American's dream. I have a dream that one day we will know what all men are created equal. Truly means I have a dream that one day blacks and whites will sit down together at a table like brothers. I have a dream that one day the state of Mississippi will be a place of freedom and justice for everyone. The state of Mississippi saw violence during the civil rights movement. In 1962, University of Mississippi students reported that they didn't want James Murditt, a black student, to start classes there. The American dream is a term that means the idea of a happy and successful life. White gods protected James murdered on his way to classes. Today, I have a dream that my children will be judged for who they are and not what their skin color. I have a dream that one day white children and black children will join hands. They will play together even in Alabama, although the leader of that state today is a man filled of racism. I have a dream that all the hardships of today will soon be gone. We will all live together peacefully. This is the hope we share. This is the faith we take with us and as we return home. In 1963, George Wallace was Alabama's governor. He promised white people of the state segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. Because of our faith, we can have hope instead of hopelessness. With our faith, life will one day be peaceful. With our faith, we can go on with our lives, knowing that real freedom is coming. And we'll sing together when that day of freedom comes. And the words to an old familiar song will have new meanings. My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty. The words of the song America were written by Samuel F. Smith in the 1800s. Many people know the song of its first line, my country, it's of thee. If Americans is to be a really great country, then freedom must be there for all. Let freedom ring for every state, north, south, east, and west. When freedom finally is allowed to ring, all people will be able to join hands, and in celebration we can sing, free at last, free at last. Thank to God Almighty, we are free at last. King hoped that all differences could one day be ignored. No matter what a person's religion, color, or other difference was people could learn to get along. A spiritful is a kind of religious folk song. The words to the song were meant to give slaves hope of freedom. The song Free at Last was published by John W. Were III from 1946 to 1956. He published more than 50 spiritful songs. So, I learned about this book that it tells you what he's actually telling you. He's actually telling, and it also does it with a kid's translation. That's the cool part. So, hope you liked this video. Subscribe to the subscribe channel below. Keep watching and keep reading. See you in my next video, guys!